Hello, Metal Maniacs. This is Marko from The Crown from Sweden. Actually, a snowy Sweden right now. You are thrashing it up on the Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio with Dave Softee.
Alrighty, Metal Maniacs, here we go. Please help me welcome to Metal Messiah Radio, hailing from Sweden, from legendary Melodic Death Thrash Metal band The Crown, originally known as Crown of Thorns in the 90s, here to talk about the band's upcoming offering, Royal Destroyer, due out on Metal Blade Records March 12th, 2021. Joining us, we have guitarist Marko Tervonen.
Hey, man. Happy to be
Welcome
here.
to the Metal Meltdown, Marko. Thank you for
Let's-
taking the time to be here.
Great. Let's talk
Yes,
some metal. That's my favorite topic. So.
Excellent. And how you doing out there tonight? And how have you been out there during this COVID pandemic for the last year or so?
Yeah, it's been quite an interesting year when you look back. You know, it's what can I say? The good thing is that we are all in the same crap together, so we can relate to each other when we say it's fucked up, and also you explain to people why we're not out touring. People understand, you know. But yeah, it's been quite a year, and well, for my sake, I mean. Actually, I like being at home, you know, when it's because I have a studio where I sort of mix music for other bands. I can keep myself busy in many ways, and there's always the Netflixes and stuff like that.
This is true.
So I think the Netflix sort of views must have peaked last year, incredibly.
I would imagine
peaked,
and people being on the internet as well.
Yeah, exactly. And, but yeah, it's been quite a fucked up year for all of us, and lucky for me and my family, we've been all good. Actually, Johan, our singer, got the COVID. He recovered from 2 weeks. He was really sick. Now he's all good. Yeah. So, but yeah, you stay at home, avoid people. That's what we Swedes do. We avoid people anyways.
Well, I think it's been a great year for metal because people are not doing touring and they have more time to concentrate on writing music and recording the music and taking their time doing so. So I think that has been the bonus about the situation. And it's great to have you here, as I said, so we can talk about your upcoming Metal Blade release, Royal Destroyer, which is, like I said, due out March 12th, 2021. It's outstanding to have this kick-ass new music to talk about and to have you here to talk about it with us.
Awesome.
Now, you were just mentioning about Johan was with the COVID, so it's good to know that he's doing okay now. But yeah, it's really fucked up how this thing can really put you down for a couple of weeks or so. But at least he survived it. That's the main thing.
Yeah. It is, and that's the fucking scary thing with the disease, that you don't know, you can't predict how hard it's gonna hit you if you get it. So some people have a very light symptoms, and some people fucking die, you know. So and there's no logic in it at this point because it's such a new disease. So you don't have any historical data or to sort of get scientific about. So now it's just like a big gambling, and that's.
And I was just watching the news, and what's really scary is now that you know about the vaccines being out there, and that's a good thing. But what I've found out is that this virus has morphed and changed. And so whatever it was is now something different, and it'll affect people differently, and that's really scary.
It is. Yeah, I read about that as well. In our neighboring country, I think it started in Denmark, that the virus mutated. And I mean, just the word mutated virus, that's a fucking thrash metal title. And that's
it sure is.
Scary,
this is true.
So, yeah, and but what I read or heard was that it's very close to the virus. It's just that it's more infectious. Well, that's not good news, obviously, but we just fucking have to wait and see. But I think 2021 is also gonna be one of those, pretty much similar to 2020.
You're right. Let's hope not. Let's hope they do get the vaccines out there, the millions and millions of vaccines that people can conquer this. Because metal won't do it alone, that's for sure. Would you be kind enough to tell our listeners out there who makes up the current lineup of the Crown in the year 2021?
Yeah, it's the same lineup that worked on Cobra Speed Venom. So it's besides me, it's Robin on guitar, Johan on vocals, Henrik on drums, and Magnus on bass. So we started working with this lineup at the end of the Death Is Not Dead era, but these two albums, Cobra Speed Venom and Royal Destroyer, it's the same dudes.
Color offerings as well. And I've always wanted to know, so I'm glad we're able to talk about your music. And that is, how does your music and your words, how does it all come together? Who has the input as far as who's writing the lyrics, who's writing the melodies. I'd like to know how all your killer music comes together.
Yeah, I think what usually happens is that when we sort of start all over after sort of an album phase, when we sort of start from scratch, we never had a sort of meeting or decided how the next album's gonna be. We always start with a white canvas, and usually after like the last show on the previous album, we take a break, and a few months go by, and all of a sudden you get all or a text, yeah, I got 2 new songs. What do you have? Yeah, actually I have 3 songs, and then it's time to start rehearse. And so there's no pre-planning. So we sort of really want to create the songs, so we sort of capture the moments we actually live in, and what we are inspired by, and so it's not going to be a copy of the previous album. So it starts like that, and then we actually, in the rehearsal room, we basically go around the table. It's like, okay, I show first my song, and then rehearse it. Then Magnus will show first song, and then Robin, and then we go around, and there's no big plan to start with, and we start messing with it. And somewhere when you're on like song number 7, you start to think about, okay, is this gonna be an album? What's the feel? And during the last couple of songs, that's when you can start to add the final touches to that. Yeah, this would need a fucking slow song, and then you actually sort of think about it and try to do something to fit. We start from scratch, and usually how we sort of our mindsets are divided. It's this is a pretty sort of rough thing to say, but it's usually like Magnus does the super brutal stuff. I'm the more melodic guy. Robin is somewhere there in between, trying to bring in some new influences because he loves a lot of like normal metal and rock music, stuff like that. So he brings in, he brings in a lot of sort of cool stuff. I mean, one of his favorite bands are like, Guns N' Roses and Running Wild. So they brings in a lot of different flavors too. But usually I'm the guy that brings in the melodies, so to say, to the songs, or if I add some melodies to Magnus songs. But Magnus likes to keep it very, very brutal, He's usually we write a bit differently. Magnus can sort of sit at home and write a song like, when he has an idea. Like in hour the song is done, but I'm more like I write bits and pieces, and then I sort of analyze it, and somewhere along the road I sort of realize how they fit together, and then I complete a demo and send to the guys, and that's what to rehearse the songs. And then when we all start to mess with ideas like arrangements, and maybe remove a riff here and there and change the ending and a lot of that. So it is a team effort in the end, and that is very obvious. So we always had this mentality that we listen to ideas, we try it, and we as a band we decide, is it better or is it worse? So I mean, I can have ideas for vocals, and Johan can have ideas for bass line. I mean, we're messing with all our roles, so there's no like these egos involved there. It's always like what is best for the song, and I like that because that's the way a band should work. Otherwise it's a solo project.
It sounds like you have a natural way of getting the music together, that you all have your input, and then you get to the rehearsal and you pretty much jam, and what you get together comes out with the music of the Crown, which is great.
Yeah, that's the way, and that's something sort of what we realized when we did the Cobra Speed Venom, because I mean, in the past, like the first all those early on albums up until Possess 13, that's the way we always did. We rehearsed together, made the final sort of tweaks together, but then sort of when we broke up and came back, we did 2 albums for Century Media. That was Doomsday King and Death Is Not Dead, and those were done on very different circumstances, and that became very obvious when we heard the albums. Like, fuck, this doesn't sound like a team effort, and there's something missing, and that's what we sort of started capturing with Cobra Speed Venom, and that's what we continued with Royal Destroyer.
And could you tell us where Royal Destroyer, where this was recorded, what studio this was recorded in, who was responsible for mixing, mastering, and producing Royal Destroyer? Thank you.
Yeah. We were so happy with what we managed to achieve with Cobra Speed Venom. So we continued working with Fredrik Nordström at Studio Fredman.
Right.
So it's the same studio. We just sort of raised the bar a bit, you know. It sounded good, Cobra Speed Venom, but this one sounds a bit better. So, but it's Fredrik did the whole producing, mixing thing, and because I used to produce a couple of albums for the Crown, but ever since Cobra Speed Venom, I decided I don't want to do it because I just want to be the actual guitar player, you know, because it becomes too, and especially on the Death Is Not Dead album, because I also played the drums. That was starting to get ridiculous, you know. So this, ever since Cobra, I'm like, I just want to be the fucking complaining guitarist on the couch, you know, drinking my coffee and, you know, bitching about things and complaining about the.
I think you made the right decision.
Typically,
take less burden for yourself.
Yeah, I did
right?
so because we need to focus on our areas, you know. I can't be all over the place, and you know, and this is perfect. And working with Fredrik in the past with the, you know, Death Race King and Possessed 13 albums way back, you know, we know that what he's capable of. I guess we all know his track record with all these amazing bands he's done, so we knew that it's gonna be good. But at the same time, it's pretty cool with Fredrik because he's open-minded, even though he's done like hundreds of professional albums. We told him that what we want to achieve is it's not this super produced, oversampled, edited album. That started with the Cobra, that sort of approach, and it turned out pretty good, and that's what we continued with Royal Destroyer. So the goal was to go into the studio, just nail the takes, and that's actually what we did in 7 days.
That's
into vocals, everything. So it's ridiculously fast, but that's also, I think it's combined together with, so I mean, we've done this for 30 years and we're pretty confident with what we're doing. So I mean, I guess a younger band, when they're working on their first or second album, they in the studio, they're a bit afraid, and they start doubting themselves, and they go in and solo listen to every track, you know, assuring that everything is perfect. But that's not our approach. We went in and played the song, and it was like, was it good? Yeah, okay, next one. So basically 1 or 2 takes per song, just trying to capture how it actually sound. So that was
your experience means a lot. You learned a lot over the years. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in studio, because I mean, evil producer can fucking break you down. You know, that's the lousiest fucking guitarist ever. But when you just go in, you're confident, you know your limitation. If it's not super tight, then it's not super tight, because that's you playing, you know, it's not a machine playing. So, and that's what we feel confident with. And I know in the end, it sounds tight, but it's not perfect. It's not supposed to sound fucking perfect, you know, grid mode in Pro Tools and everything is synchronized.
Right.
That's not a way to capture performances, you know. It goes to total opposite.
And what's also is really cool about your new offering is the CD art. It has a really dark look to it. Can you inform the listeners on who designed your CD art for Royal Destroyer? And if you can remember who created the band's logo, we'd be reminded on that as well.
Yeah, the logo go way back. Actually, the times we were called Crown of Thorns. We released 2 albums under that name, and this is art guy called Christian Volin, also known as Necrolord, that has done a lot of amazing stuff like Dissection, Tiamat. You know, he's done so many classic album cover artwork, Dismember, you name it, and. He did our first cover for the called The Burning, and he actually painted the logo. He invented the logo, and he painted it on the cover. So it was not like layered on Photoshop, you know, where we can move and position it. So it's actually painted on the actual cover, and he did the logo, and it stuck with us. And later on, when we had to change the name to the Crown, we just ripped off Thorns and continued with his style. So it's his original logo, and maybe in the past years we changed it a bit around, but yeah, Christian Volin did it, and he's a pretty cool classic guy, you know. Excellent. In the scene. So
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And for the new album, it's the same guy that did the Cobra Speed Venom, Christian Sloan Hall. So we were so pleased with the end result with Cobra Speed Venom, and we the sort of only idea we had from first was that we wanted to go something more like an epic thing, when everything is on 11. It's a bit sort of overkill epic feel to it, and have this sort of warrior on the horse, aiming for the crown. That is, it's a very very visual epic thing, and I mean it's not a super original thing to have a guy on a horse. I mean, we've seen that 1,000 times, but it was something that we just wanted to go with. And the cool thing is that since we are a bit old school, the whole artwork is originally done for the sort of vinyl gatefold approach. So what you see on the cover is only 50%. The artwork continues when you open up the gatefold vinyl. So there was a big project that Christian did for this one. And especially when folded up, you will see outside there's so many shitloads of details. And
it is very
pretty cool.
And that's the fact that it leads towards the crown ties it all in very well.
Yeah. And, I mean, he being the Royal Destroyer, and we are Royal since our band name Crown. So there's a lot of stuff that links together, and also the fact that we're using blue and yellow colors. And I mean, Sweden is a monarchy; it's a royal country. I mean, it links a lot of details. Blue and yellow is Sweden's flag.
Yes, quite symbolic. Yes,
colors. Yeah, so there's a lot of details there that. I hope people, if they get the gatefold versions, there's a lot of shit to sort of zoom in and find new stuff all the time. I like
it's
that.
Very cool, and I thank you for sharing that with us. And one of the most important things now, especially in the year 2021, is the fact that you can't really go out there and support yourself by touring, so you need to tell the people, inform the fans on how they can support the band by getting merch. So I want to give a few links, and I want to talk about what merch you may have available. First, I want to give the crownofficial.com. I want to give the Facebook, of course, facebook.com, the Crown Official shop link, your Bandcamp, the crownofficial.bandcamp, and if you have any other links, where would you say would be the best place for a fan of the Crown to go check out merch? And what merch currently do you have available for your fans? That's very important.
Yeah. For the new album, what will come out like bundles and stuff like that you get a shirt when you buy a CD. That's definitely like metalblade.com/The Crown.
Okay,
that's a good start. And also I seen that like Nuclear Blast's web shop, they have a long sleeve shirt there. So they're offering a bit different things. But actually we're right now negotiating with a new merch company. So before the album is released, we will have a new shop available. So that's where we're going to get a bit creative and see if we can, create new stuff and maybe bring in back something from the past, do some really cool designs. So I need to get back to you on that address, that site, but it's going to happen.
That's good.
So, but also we're a bit maybe old school. We use that Facebook thing quite a lot, the Crown Official. And we inform a lot through that, and we try to use that as basically the main platform to, talk to people all around the world and integrate. And so that's a good start, excellent. I would say. So, but more excellent. To follow.
So please keep in touch with us so that when the time is right and you have more merch available and you want to spread the word, we can help spread the word with you.
Yeah, because now it's pretty cool. I mean, it's as you said, no, the touring part. It's not gonna happen. So it's cool to come up with stuff that keep things interesting and also link in with the streaming media. So let's see what we can do now around release time. Maybe do a concert or something like that. So you need to get a bit creative.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the possibility of possibly touring maybe in the summer of 2021. Have you had any time to get your thoughts together on what the possibilities may be, depending on the COVID situation? Or is that something you're just going to wait and chill out for and see how it goes before you start making plans?
Yeah, that is the difficult part because it's fucking impossible to plan right now. And I see so many bands friends, they really try to make it work, the live situations. They book up tours, but they end up canceling, and that's so sad to see. And especially the bands, I mean, take like a band on a sort of mid-level that rely on the income from 200 shows per year. I mean, it's a disaster for those bands. And I really feel sorry for them. Luckily for us, we do have other careers as well. So the sort of live thing is absolutely something we enjoy doing it, but it's not the live part that puts bread on the table for us. So, but there are bands and friends in that very tough situation, and that is absolutely terrible to see. But so we actually don't have a single show booked at this moment.
It's understandable. It's very understandable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, and it's terrible. But because right now, when there's so many things happening, rolling out the vaccine and stuff. So, but we don't know shit. What does that mean? Is the planet safe in the summer, or where
we hope so, but we don't know that yet. August, it's indefinite.
Yeah, then the fucking thing hits again, and then this is a zombie apocalypse, and it's very difficult.
It's a matter of life and death, really, is what it comes down to.
It is definitely, and it's yeah. I mean, there's some fucking idiots that don't take this pandemic seriously.
This is very true and very scary as well. I see this all the time in my world. It's like, oh my god, people think it's a hoax still. It's like, give me a break.
Yeah, they're the absolute idiots that they think they don't believe it. They don't trust science. That scares me a lot, and. And of course, and they're so fucking selfish because I mean the people that work within healthcare, I mean they're fucking suffering because of they're so fucking stupid and they go around and be a carrier and they spread the disease, and the weekend comes and every hospital needs to bring in fucking 1,000 new patients, and I mean it's a nightmare for those people.
It's like a very bad horror film. Is really what it's like.
It is. I know. I talked to someone who has a close friend working at this sort of a hospital taking care of the COVID patients, and she said that it fucking breaks her heart when he goes around the city at a Saturday and she sees like 200 people there partying and hugging each other because she knows that they will be her patients within 1 week, So it's very
very sad situation. Yeah,
a lot of it is. So we are looking at trying to figure out something to do with the sort of streaming services stuff, we just haven't figured out what to do, but we have decided that we need to record at least something in February. It's a good time slot for us. We just need to figure out in sort of what way. Should we be on a stage and play, or should we be, I don't know, out in the snow playing or whatever, try to do something interesting and fun. But we need to have obviously some sort of plan B and plan C.
And again, please keep in touch when you do have something to spread the word on, and we'll help spread the word on that. We look forward to that as well. And let's talk about videos. You saw the latest video for Melodic Death on Metal Blade Records, the official video from the Crown. Could we learn more about the making of Melodic Death and the plan on possibly future official or lyric videos for Royal Destroyer?
Yeah, first the song. It was one of the first I wrote for the album, and that song became sort of the thrash song on the album. It's very guitar oriented, and play on the brighter D string. It sort of gives that fucking energetic thrash feeling to it, and in a way, it's a good sort of first indication of the album, but there's not like a second thrash song on the album. What I think is really beautiful with the new album, there's a lot of variation there. I really can't say that like two songs sound
That's
like
a beautiful
each other.
Thing, really.
It is, and it's also very difficult to achieve, and I'm so happy that we achieved that, because it's actually thanks to COVID in some reasons. I can tell you later, but yeah, so it's a very various album, and More Death being the thrash song, and we recorded it in actually in our hometown. They have this like old building there that has been there for a couple of 100 years, and they have this main room there. There's very beautiful like crystal crowns hanging on the from the ceilings, and this old wood panels, and so we really wanted to be in a bit different environment when we do the performance part, instead of having a black background or being in the woods or whatever. So we wanted to create a bit different approach to it. And actually there will be more videos. There will already be a next one in February, and there will be most likely even 2 lyrics videos. Excellent. After that. So that's also one of the sort of consequences that since we can't play live, we need to do something.
Obviously, yes. I'm glad that you are preparing to do more interviews. That's great news.
Yeah, so that's cool, because as I said, Melodic Death is a good indication. But at the same time, we sort of decided that now it's time to be a bit brave and surprise people. So the next single video is going to be a bit of surprise to people, because we're going for the opposite. We are going to actually release what is called the ballad of the album. So it's gonna create a shitstorm.
That will be interesting, for sure.
Yeah, it is, because I've told a couple of people that it's pretty difficult nowadays to surprise with a brutal song. People know that we can play brutal, so it's cool to be able to surprise with a sort of more mellow song, and because that's not a surprise itself. I mean, we always had on albums songs that differ a bit, and even had some very, very mellow instrumentals and stuff like that. But this song turned out pretty cool, and we just decided that let's fucking do it, try to surprise people. They expect it always that our videos are gonna be the brutal ones, but let's go from the opposite corner and try to surprise people. So let's see when the death metal police comes and tells us that we have sold out and we're
That's funny.
Well,
I do appreciate you letting us know about this, the video, and sharing the word on that. That is really appreciated.
Yeah, sure.
And Marko, do you consider yourself a gearhead? Do you like to talk about your gear?
This is the funny thing, that I'm the guitarist. I don't know much about guitar gear. I usually call someone that knows much better, like Robin or But when it comes to studio gear, then I'm a total geek. When it comes to microphones and preamps and recording techniques and stuff like that, because that's one of my passions. And I also have a studio myself where I offer mixing services to other bands. They upload their music on a whatever Google Drive, and I work it and make a mix and send it back. That's the kind of stuff I can get super geeky about. But when it comes to guitar, like pickups and amps, no, I don't know that. I don't know why. It's really strange. That should be my sort of gear porn passion. But
I find that hard to believe, because you sound great at what you do. I would think you would know everything about it.
Yeah, well, at least I picked up something during 30 years. But I know the thing is also that I know that around Possess 13, and I bought my PV 5150 amp, and it sounded fantastic, and so I had it for so long time, because it's like, if it's not broken, don't change it, don't try to fix it, and when I find something that works, I stick to it, because it's same with the studio gear. There's always another toy, There's always something you could compare with, but you need to at some point decide on, this is a good fucking solid setup I have. The guitar is great. I have my Kemper now. I have profiled my own sounds, and let's stick with it for a few years.
Yeah, there's something to be said about loyalty, just like the fans of The Crown, sticking with you for years.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. The fucking people all around the world that have been following us for like 20 years, and they're so hardcore into it, and when you chat with them, they have so detailed questions, and I can so relate to it, because I'm such a geek myself when it comes to sort of my favorite bands, and I have a lot of detailed questions, and it's really cool when they act the same way, so I can really relate to that. So
but earlier you were mentioning about the need to have a real job, because you can't be out there touring, you can't make money touring, so you each have regular jobs. So I'd like to know what you do when you're not doing The Crown. What is your normal job?
Yeah, actually, I'm being employed over 12, 13 years at DHL. Yeah, I work with IT solutions in project teams for the whole Nordics. So I work for projects in Finland, Sweden, and Norway, and been doing that in various roles. At one point, I was the Nordic IT manager as well, and so there's a lot of things within the IT area when it comes to logistics and transports. That's
That's
what
quite
I do.
Interesting. Yeah.
And yeah, and what may come as a surprise is that Magnus is actually a psychologist. Wow. So he's he's a fucking doctor.
That is interesting.
Yeah, so we do various stuff. Robin also works at DHL with IT in a different role, but in the same organization as well. And we do all kinds of stuff necessary. And that's something that started actually when we quit the band. What was it, 2003? For the first time in our lives, we sort of took care of that normal stuff. You know, some people went to school. You know, Magnus studied to be a psychologist, and some of us, for the first time, got proper jobs. You know, because before that, it was always about the crown. And we even told each other that, don't take a fucking good day job because you need to quit it, because we need to always be prepared to go on tour, and all of that mentality. But when we quit the band and those years we lived without it, that saved us in many ways, because now we have basically a fall plan, something to fall back on because in reality there's sort of, to have a career or an income from death metal, that would mean that we would need to do 300 shows per year, and we're not interested in doing that because we have families and all of that. So when we sort of came back, we decided that, or we were very much agreed on that we want to have the crown in our lives, and we need to make it work so that we can do our crown thing, but we still need to have functioning relationships with our family.
That makes a lot of sense. You can't let the crown control your every move. Like, you want to do shows, but you don't want to do 300 shows a year. Obviously not.
Exactly. That's the thing, and that's the beautiful, and that's what we're pretty blessed with nowadays, because we can actually say no. When one says that you need to go 4 weeks to Europe and tour, no, we don't have to, but we can, a bit cherry pick, the ones that we would really think, this would be really fucking cool to do, then we do it, of course. And but there's no. That was one of the reasons we sort of quit the band, because it became too serious. Like a lot of tours, a lot of long tours, and there was not a bone in our body that even thought about, can we have a break for a few months?
The metal life could probably not be a very easy life for you. That's for sure.
Yeah, and not so healthy.
Exactly.
Too. So it's a very dangerous road. So I think it saved us.
That's very refreshing to hear. I'm glad you were talking about that. And Marko, is there anything that you'd like to say to your loyal fans that are tuning in tonight?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for sticking by, because we are now 31st year into this, and it's fucking amazing that we're still sort of relevant. People like our latest albums and things we do and come to shows. It's absolutely amazing. And every now and then we get to play in countries we never visited before, and you see and meet people that have basically waited 20 years for us to come, and they're basically in tears, and that's such a beautiful feeling, and it's an amazing how strong music can be. And but yeah, as I said, the live shows, it's impossible to plan, but we will do something with the different media streaming platforms. So stick around and visit us at the Crown official Facebook, because we're gonna announce some stuff now in February. So let's continue this road for a few more years. And
excellent. And we'll be keeping our eye on your Facebook for sure. I definitely guarantee that. And Marko, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I have enjoyed our conversation and the opportunity to get to know you better. It's our first time doing this, but I sure hope it's not our last. I would love to come back here in the future and talk with you again on your future releases with the Crown. Before we go crank up more of the Crown, though, I want to make sure that we got all the fans up to speed. That being said, if there's anything else that we can mention that we have yet to discuss, I want you to feel free to mention anything that you'd like to.
I think we covered.
I think
a
we
lot.
did a great job. I really enjoyed
album
talking with you.
Yeah, we did a good job. It was a great chat and very wide range of topics. It was really cool. And I mean, the album coming out in March and more videos to come. And the future is unknown when it comes to live shows. So I think we covered a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Marko. This has been an honor for me, a pleasure. And like I said, I hope it won't be the last time. You know, you'll always will be welcome back here on Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio. Just keep the metal flowing. And I want to wish you and everyone in the crowd a very successful 2021. Stay healthy, stay COVID-free. And when the time is right for you to do some shows, let us know. We'll be there spreading the word and hopefully, get to see you perform live.
Yeah, great. Thanks, man. Absolutely. And once again, thanks for this great chat.
It was a pleasure for me. Thank you for the great interview. And let's go crank up some more of The Crown now. Let's crank it up loud.